Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You know, I was online last night and I found some amazing videos on gas laws.
You were online looking at amazing videos on gas laws.
Yeah, you got it.
First off, A, I'm an electrician. What do I care about gas laws? B, there's a lot better things to be looking at on YouTube than videos on gas laws.
Well, you know what? Let's not worry about either of those things. But I'll tell you what, I am a gas fitter and I am a plumber. And we deal with gas laws. We deal with absolute pressure, atmospheric pressure, gauge pressure, and how they all go together. And we need to learn how those go together in order to deal with our gas laws, how gases act inside pipes and vessels and such.
Not really putting down what you're picking up there, Mark.
I think that's picking up what I'm putting down, Chad.
6 of one, a dozen of the other, really.
Okay. I see we're going nowhere right now, so why don't we head outside, and I have an idea, and I'm going to explain all this to you out there.
Cool.
All right. Okay, we are here in gorgeous, beautiful White Rock, British Columbia. The Pacific Ocean is right out to my left here. And the question is, what are we standing out on the beach filming for? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about pressure. We're going to talk about atmospheric pressure, we're going to talk about gauge pressure, and we're going to talk about how those two come together to get your absolute pressure. So first, let's talk about atmospheric pressure. Now, we're at sea level, and there's pressure everywhere here. We don't even feel it because what's on the inside and the outside, it's all the kind of same. And it's 14.7 pounds per square inch atmospheric. All right, I gotta do this quick because as you can see down here, I'm starting to sink in this quicksand. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm gonna be about 2 feet tall in a minute. Okay, so the question becomes this. If it's 14.7 pounds per square inch atmospheric here at sea level, does that change as we go up? And the answer is yes. We actually have less atmospheric pressure. For every 2,000 feet we go up, we lose 1 pound or 1 pound per square inch of atmospheric pressure. But let's just stop there for a sec and let's take a look at what our gauge pressure is. Okay, now this is an important point, or what we'll do right now is we'll stop and we'll say, okay, what about gauge pressure? How does that relate to this? Well, think about a gauge, say you're going to measure pressure in a plumbing system or a piping system or a compressor or something like that, and you had a gauge that looked something like this. Okay, so now I pull that gauge out here at sea level. That's going to read 14.7, right? No, wrong. It reads 0. Gauge pressure is pressure above atmospheric. So even if I pulled it out right now, it's still going to read 0. If we were to take a piping system and pressurize it, that's going to start reading anything above atmospheric pressure. That's what gauge pressure is all about. All right, now let's think about something, a higher city, say like Denver or something. Now that's not at sea level, it's above sea level. Actually, I'm not exactly sure how much it is above sea level. Give me a sec to check this out. All right, so it says it's 5,280 feet above sea level. Wait a minute, that's like a mile. Holy smoke, that's a lot. No wonder they call it the Mile High City. That's just crazy. So if we lose about 1 psi for every 2,000 feet, and the Mile High City is about 5,000 feet and change, we're losing about 2.5 pounds per square inch of atmospheric pressure up there. And the idea is that as you go higher up, the amount of atmosphere pressing down gets less, and the molecules, the air molecules, don't have as much pressure, they start to move farther apart. Kind of like why as you walk up a mountain or as people climb up Mount Everest, it gets harder to breathe. The oxygen molecules are farther apart up there than they are down here at sea level. Okay, so what about gauge pressure then? Is that going to change as we go higher up? Let's once again take a look at our gauge. So what the gauge reads is 0. It doesn't matter how high we go up. We go back to the fact that gauge pressure is anything above atmospheric. Even if you go up high to Denver, the gauge pressure is still going to be 0. It's when we attach it to a system where the pressure is above atmospheric, like a piping system, once again, that's when it will read something. But you'll see it's still 0 psi. Okay, so let's do one more thing. Let's go even higher than Denver. Let's go to Machu Picchu, which is a place in Peru that's actually on my bucket list. Once again, we got to go to Google because I don't exactly know how high above sea level Machu Picchu is. Okay, so it looks like Machu Picchu is almost 8,000 feet above sea level. I actually thought it was a little bit higher, but 8,000 feet, if you're losing a PSI for every 2,000 feet, you've lost about 4 PSI, pounds per square inch atmospheric. So breathing's going to get a little harder as you go up to Machu Picchu. Let's do it. Let's prove ourselves one more time. Let's pull out the old gauge and see what the gauge pressure's at. And as you can see, it reads 0. And by the way, I don't know who that guy holding the gauge is, but we are not paying that guy. He's not doing a very good job. All right, let's put everything together. We started with atmospheric, we moved on to gauge. Now we're going to take those two, what we're going to do is we're going to wrangle them together, we're going to get absolute. And absolute pressure is the addition of the atmospheric pressure and the gauge pressure. And we use that a lot when we talk about gas laws, such as Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law. We need everything in absolute pressure. All right, that's the end of this video, and I tell you what, I feel the pressure has been lifted. All right, man. How was that? Did you learn anything there?
I learned a ton.
Excellent.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
No worries.
The more you know.